we decide to start these healing journeys. Not everybody does. I tell y'all all the time, believe me when I tell you, there are people walking this earth who have never experienced trauma, grief, or loss. They exist, okay? However, they are obviously the minority. So for the majority of us, we have trauma, childhood trauma, have maybe a victim of SA or childhood SA. So when I talk a lot about my voice, my story, my journey, you're going to be hearing a lot more about it this month because it's kind of like I call it a free month, right? And so for me, coming from my voice, my story, my journey, having childhood trauma from as early as 18 months, all the way from other trauma from a parent, being married, right? Going through that type of narcissistic marriage and coming to where I am today. And so when I talk about my healing journey, was in August of 2019. So this past Sunday actually would have marked the 5-year anniversary of my healing journey. I use quotations, you know why? Because healing never ends. When we start a healing journey, we heal up until now. And then all the tools that we learned are the tools that we use going forward for situations and events that happen. That's what healing is. And I say heal to helping. I also say healing and helping because every time we turn around, there's something around that corner, right? And sometimes we're human. Doesn't mean we're not going to break down or cry or decide we want to be in bed for 3 days. Or sometimes people have manic episodes. You go spending money or whatever the case is. We are human. Having a healing journey, getting to heal to helping, that doesn't make us holy. I saw a thing and it said, I'm not nice. I'm a good person. I'm going to say it again. It said, I am not nice. I am a good person. There's a difference, right? And so for me, when I started, on that day, August 4th of 2019, I was in my marriage. Marriage was abusive. We talk more about that, and if you guys have questions. But so this was before COVID, but this was, I had my disability. We were married. We had moved here. I was being denied, my medical treatment, the ability to go to offices. I was kept here. That's how I developed the agoraphobia, right? From being here all the time. And then I didn't know what to do when it was time for me to go out. But I knew on that day that there was another blowout, abusive argument with my wife that I felt like up until then, I had already had 8 attempts, okay? And I survived. And many times for years, I'm like, why did I survive to have this kind of life? Because we all go through that, right? Unaliving. And just make sure, number one, that you're taking care of yourself. I like to make sure that you all are safe, and you have to make sure you check in with yourselves, check in with your strong people, because you never know. Sometimes it's the ones that are strong, smiling, there are sometimes the ones that we lose quicker because we think that they're okay and we're not checking in. And sometimes that's all they're looking for is for somebody to check in, right? But because I was already so isolated, because I had already walked away from a parent, I'll never forget that day because I was so over it. I went into my room. I have my meditation, not medication station, but my meditation station. And I kid you not, I got on my knees, and y'all know I love my Tay-Tay in the song she made about her mom when her mom had cancer. And she was like, when things are down, people pray. So I guess now I'll get on my knees and pray too. That was the energy I had that day. I was like, I was doing energy work. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. I believe in higher deity of power. So yes, I prayed. I did everything. I cried. I want to say it was the better part of 4 hours, give or take some time, straight. Like, I knew that when I got off that floor, there was going to be 2 things. I either was not going to make it till the next day, and it would have been a successful 9th attempt or a successful 9th time, or I was going to figure it the fuck out and choose to live and keep breathing. Well, obviously I chose the latter. However, it doesn't mean it was an easy decision, you see, because I had already been under the care of therapy and psychiatrists, and you got big pharma. Most of the medications I take are psychotropic medications, but I was always non-compliant, right? We say sometimes we heal because we're the problem. Doesn't mean we were all the problem, but can be some of the problem. Yes, when you have mental illness that goes unmanaged, Believe me, you are the problem sometimes when we run from it, when we're not being compliant with medications. And so that day, what I decided to do, because it was a Sunday, so Monday, I decided to get off that floor and choose the ladder. And that Monday morning, I was on the phone with my psychiatrist, on the phone with my therapist, making appointments. And I said, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm ready to do this. I'm all in. And my therapist is like, hold on a second. What do you mean you're throwing in the towel, right? Because people hear that and it's usually like, I'm done, right? Like, and so they got nervous. They're like, hold on a second. And I said, no. You see, because I am throwing in the towel. I'm throwing in the towel of trying to run from my mental illness. I'm throwing in the towel of not being compliant with my medication. I'm throwing in the towel from thinking that I have to be under someone else's control. And I know that I have to get my shit together, because if everything fell apart around me, or when everything would fall apart around me, I needed to be good with me. And so then they look at me and I'm like, yeah, don't worry. When I tell people, I explain it. But that's what I did. I was like, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm throwing in the towel of what it was, and I'm ready to move forward. And my therapist was excited. My psychiatrist was excited. And guess what? It never ends, right? Healing never ends. But I tell you what, because of the marriage that I was in, and when I decided to start healing, it was very difficult. And I tell y'all, it's not better or worse. It's just different for everyone. Not everybody makes it out of those types of marriages or relationships living. Not everybody has the ability, the power, the strength to try to attempt a healing journey while in a relationship. Believe me when I tell you, if you can avoid having to do that, it hurts to try to heal. They say you can't heal where you were hurt. So it hurts a lot more. It hurts in a different way when you have no choice but to heal where you're being hurt still in that phrase, right? And so I am proud of myself. I tell myself that all the time, because I literally chose courage over comfort. I made a decision that would not have to have anybody else. I have little independence because of my disability, right? For those of you who are new, spinal cord injury back in 2015, been disabled ever since, and I tell you what, two things: the marriage, the abuse, the extent of how the abuse got worse the more I started to heal. You know why? Because I started to develop a voice. I started to take the tape off my mouth. Literally, yes, there was tape on my mouth. I started deciding that nobody would put their finger in my face and spit at me. I made a decision that I was like, you're not gonna play with me like that. And if there's anything that pisses a narcissist off, is proof. And the fact that you realize that they're a narcissist and you're not playing it anymore. And see, what also made her mad, and this is the part that I really want you all to listen to, because this is how it went down. I told her, with these situations, I said, I'm healing. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it for our marriage or for us. I'm not doing it for our family. I'm doing it for me. Because when everything falls apart around me, however that is, I need to be good up here. Why? Because I've had 8 attempts. Why? Because I have mental illness. Why? Because yes, it's easy to be able to say, I give up. So I had to do it for me. And then I say this: I will never be under the thumb of someone else. I will lose anyone or anything before I lose myself or my sanity again. I'm going to say it louder for those in the back. I will lose anyone or anything before I lose myself or my sanity again. Put it on a sticky note, put it on the mirror. It doesn't matter where you stand in life, because at the end of the day, you don't want to lose yourself. We want to stay aligned with our mind, body, spirit, right? So I need you to know that you're not alone. I see you and I hear you. We're in it together, and I love you.